I'm pretty sure we've all been there. Either we're new to a community or we've been there for a really long time and something comes up in our lives. I mean, stuff happens. And in those times, I'm sure you'd agree, it's important to know where to turn, where to look, and where to go to get the services that we need. And in Sutton, Quebec, there's someone whose main role is to help families and individuals, well, get the support that they're looking for. And that's with whom we're going to be speaking today. Hi again, my name is Ed Humphrey and welcome to a brand new episode of About Townshippers. Now the goal of this web series is really quite simple. If you're an English speaker living anywhere in the Eastern Townships of Quebec, well, we want to help you discover the services that are offered in English, well, either right there in your community or at least not too far away. Now, if you live in or around Sutton and there is a service you've been looking for, or if you're going through some challenging times and you don't really know where to look, well, today I want to introduce you to someone. Angie Dery is a bilingual outreach worker in Sutton, and she's got a lot of connections. I mean, not only right there in the community, but throughout the RCM of Brome-Missisquoi. And we recently sat down to talk about how she helps families and individuals get access to the community services that they're looking for. So let's jump in. Well, good morning, Angie. Welcome to About Townshippers.
Good morning, Ed. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's good to see you. Let's kick things right off with a real existential question. You know, I assume that a lot of people would associate your type of work with a more urban center. So in the rural, but kind of still really vibrant municipality of Sutton, what does your job as an outreach worker entail?
Well, basically, I'm the bridge between services available in Brome-Missisquoi. So any social services or community organizations of which I can refer people within the small community that might not already have access or know exist. That's essentially what my job is.
Okay. Now, do people usually go to you or do you go to them or?
It's a little bit of both.
Okay.
Basically, a lot of word of mouth too. To know that the service exists, that I'm here to help people in whatever situation that they're living and see how I can refer them to something that would be a more long-term service depending on the need.
Okay. Could you maybe give us an example or two about some of the, without really going into details, but some of the types of services that you can lead people to or direct people to?
Basically anything that that is making their life a little bit more vulnerable, or in the sense that they need extra guidance for that aren't available in Sutton. So, for example, conjugal violence, anything to do with mental health, drug use. It could be, different daycare services. It could be trying to break isolation within the community. So for immigrants, there's services that exist too. All kinds of services that are available in Brome-Missisquoi that are also accessible in both languages. Can be referred, big or small. It also can be within the community. People within the community that are available have different services. For example, people that are installing themselves in Sutton for the first time don't know what's available. Families looking for different activities to provide within their family.
So it's like a one-stop shop. It's
basically it's a wide variety of things. It's basically being present and trying to find solutions for different problems.
So although you're based in Sherbrooke in Sutton. I'm in Sherbrooke, you're in Sutton. You're based in Sutton and I guess working in Abercorn as well. You're not just concentrating there. You're encouraging people to discover the services outside of that municipality and throughout the MRC then.
Yes, exactly. Because Sutton, we have the Centre d'Action Bénévole, the Sutton Volunteer Center, which is where I'm based. We provide lots of different activities. There's also food banks available, Papatte Roulante, a collective kitchen. These are all things that are available normally through us with activities. Okay. But there's a need for other services that are already available. So it's making that more accessible and referring people there and, trying to deal with what we can as well in Sutton, and making myself available so somebody can reach out for them.
Get what they need. Okay. Now you mentioned the food bank. Now you guys have, if I'm not mistaken, have a really interesting activity. I believe it's once a week. And is it the pour éviter le gaspillage or to?
Yeah. So it's an anti-waste table. We're doing it this summer. It's every Tuesday from 4 to 5, and it's an initiative throughout Rome-Missisquoi. There's several different producers that bring their stuff that they might not necessarily be able to keep for an extra week or sell at the Saturday market. So we put out a table, and it's free vegetables, and it's amazing. Really good produce. Everybody in Sutton or whoever is in Sutton can come and take advantage of it, basically. We used to have a frigo don in the building at the John Fleece Center, but it hasn't been reactivated since COVID. So this is a safer way of doing it. It's a new initiative in our MRC. So that's one of the ways that I make myself available and trying to show who I am in the town.
Cool. And what's the reaction been to that particular initiative?
Very good. It's been really good. Good word of mouth. Some people see the posts on Facebook, other people just walk by. But no, it's been really good. People are really appreciative of it. And it's to ensure that it doesn't go to waste and people get what they need.
Well, as I'd mentioned to you before we started the interview, I mean, as you know, the goal of these little chats is to really promote the organizations and the individuals that work with and for the English communities or the English people and communities of the Eastern Townships. So your service, now you're hired mostly to work in English, is that correct?
Basically, yes. My position is for Anglophone and families, not limited to, it can be bilingual as well. I can speak perfectly fine in French, but really it's to make the services accessible for Anglophones that might not have, had that access in the past. There's, in the Anglophone community, not always the initiative to want to call services in fear that it might, only be in French, which isn't the case anymore. It could have been in the past. So it's to make these services heard of and more available, and to give somebody the chance to have an Anglophone to work with to start.
Now, one of the questions that I ask a lot of most of my guests is how have you adapted your services, what you do during COVID? But you started during COVID. You started in April. So that's kind of all you've known up to now in this particular position. So how is that going so far? Do you think it's tougher, or how do you foresee, adapting what you do as time goes on?
It was a little tough in the beginning, but I think it just required more creativity. We started delivering the food bank when we couldn't have anybody here. So I went, basically delivered food banks, said hi to people through the window, made phone calls to introduce myself and to make sure that the community that had already had services here was aware that I existed and I was available for them. So that was my first approach. Also parents, through different activities that already existed. I made calls to make sure that their family was okay, see if there's anything we can offer them. As summer hit and things opened up, I was able to do a little more. I went to the day camps, to the daycares, served lemonade, met families that way. And also, delivered different activity bags to families that had already had activities here. So just making myself visible in the community, taking walks around town, handing out my cards, letting people know that there's somebody that can help for any kind of situation that they may cross.
So creativity and proactivity are really the key words, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Okay. And so over and above, people meeting you at certain events or certain activities, or even, in the street, what's the best way for someone to get in touch with you?
Basically anywhere that they're comfortable. I have a Facebook page, Angie Outreach Sutton. They can send me a message. I can't take any friend requests. It's not made to be a page for that, but a message can be available. I have a email at outreach.cabsutton@gmail.com, and a cell phone 450-522-2422. And I'll send you a picture of my card to add in.
Well, Angie Dery, you're an outreach worker, intervenante de milieu for the Volunteer Center in Sutton, and you've been really kind today to heed all my questions. And like I said, the goal is to help people become more familiar with the different organizations and individuals like yourselves that offer these super important, services to the English-speaking community. So thanks a lot, and I hope you have a great fall, where fall is just around the corner.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Ed, for having me.
Take care.
You too.
Well, there you go. If you live in or around Sutton and there's a service that you've been looking for, speaking with Angie Dery and her colleagues over at the Sutton Volunteer Center, I think it's a pretty good place to start. Now, as Angie just mentioned, you can contact her by email, you can find her on Facebook, or you can give her a phone call. My name is Ed Humphrey. Thanks a lot for being there with us today. And if you've enjoyed this clip, please click on that like button, and please we'll share the video with someone you think could benefit from the information that we've shared today. And as usual, we're going to be back really soon with a brand new episode of About Townshippers. See you then.